Seen the Ray now. This brother, he's pulling up from logos the way Klay and Steph pulls up from logos, okay?
And then like and we're squashing. What did you notice?
Look you on me. I'm ready to go in. Did you feel it?
What do I get me a seat behind big?
You're through.
Yes, man. You're gonna make that next shot.
And this is an honor.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Dad, I wish I had your talent.
That was supposed to be Jordan Poole. 1 of 7 for 4 points last night. That is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. He's got to do better than that.
That was yelling at Jordan Poole to pass him the ball. It's like, Jordan, come on. Let's go. Can't do that. Just stay in the game. Keep your head of the game.
Yeah, but right now he's getting benched in a game 2 in the first round. I mean, it's a problem for Golden State that he has not come along this season for the Warriors.
Jordan Poole is one of the most curious cases in the league today. Going into the 2019 draft, he's this projected second-round pick coming off a mediocre sophomore year at Michigan. The Warriors decided to take a chance on him at the end of the first round, a selection that seemed extremely questionable considering the state of the team.
We're having some shockers here. Is he in the crowd? I don't see how Jordan Poole cracks more than 5 or 6 minutes a game.
Yeah, this doesn't make sense to me. I would give it a D grade.
Well, I wouldn't quite give it a D. I would give it a C minus.
These beliefs were only emphasized when he put together an atrocious rookie season by any measure. The only draw for him as a prospect is that he has this shot creating upside. He goes out there, has a way bigger role than expected, and scores 9 points a game, shooting, hear this, 33% from the field and 28% from 3. That is just bad. Almost every single time someone has that kind of rookie season, they're just bad. This is exactly what made things so fascinating during his insane ride. In his second season, we see some improvements, but no one really believed we'd be seeing too much more of them, at least in a Warriors uniform, as the main reason he was getting this chance on the court was the health of Golden State's stars. But they're getting healthy. The Warriors are going to be back to being contenders. Once Klay returns, bye-bye Jordan Poole, or at least we thought.
I feel more confident in Jordan than ever. He's been our most consistent worker for 2 years now.
So you hope he can take another step, which I have no doubt that he will. As I've said a million times, he was the hardest working kids I've ever seen.
There was just this consistent buzz coming out of the Warriors offseason. That Jordan Poole kid that put together that laughable start to his career, yeah, he's now a problem, and he's torching the Warriors in practice. The preseason rolls around. No one's watching, but then Twitter explodes. Jordan Poole leads the Warriors in scoring, dropping 30. Whatever, it's the preseason. Next game, Jordan Poole leads the Warriors in scoring. The next game, Jordan Poole drops 28 points. Wait a second. Is there something here? No shot. The Warriors have done it again. The third Splash Brother, the next Curry. The hype machine was on fire. The year starts and it's a real thing.
Pool party! It's a pool party!
He opens the year with 20 points. The first month of the season, he's averaging 18 a game. And this stretch was actually crazier than you remember. In fact, it has a massive effect on the sentiment we see today. It's one thing to put up numbers. It's another to put up numbers on a team that is dominating. They would start the season 24-5, a stretch pulled off entirely without Klay Thompson. There was a lot of factors playing into this, but most people from the outside looking in don't know this or really don't even care. They see this new Splash Brother hitting step-back threes, and the Warriors are now winning games, something they hadn't done since 2019. Then Klay comes back. Jordan Poole's on the bench, and we see our first signs of concern. He goes on a 30-game stretch, shooting 42% from the field and 32% from 3. The hype starts to cool off. He's overshadowed by the return of Klay. But then something happens, something that would go on to cost the Warriors tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. Curry goes down with injury. Poole is now looking at the biggest role of his career, and he shows out. He closes the year on a 20-game run, averaging 25 and 6. He's shooting 48% from the field and 43% from 3. This changed everything. No one didn't know who Jordan Poole was now. He wasn't just the third Splash Brother. It wasn't just a pool party. He was now looked at as a future star, the player that sees baddies in the crowd and proceeds to cross someone up and hit a step-back 3. This run didn't just impact the sentiment from fans, it impacted the entire league's perception. They knew he was good, but where did the upside really stack up? They just found out. There's not many, if any, teams in the league that get more coverage than the Warriors. On the national stage, he is showing up, and his game is as electric as it gets. The playoffs start. Curry's coming back from injury. Jordan Poole goes out there and puts up 30 in Game 1, 29 in Game 2, 27 in Game 3. Every time we thought the rocket ship would slow down, it just started getting faster and faster. It's just the preseason. Just wait till Klay comes back. The playoffs will be a different story. He was just continuously shattering expectations. It seemed too good to be true, and well, it was.
Was not a good sign.
He had a solid playoff run from that point on. He averaged 15 on decent splits, and the Warriors take home the title. Their dynasty isn't slowing down anytime soon. They found the successor to Stephen Curry. What could go wrong?
And then the video comes out and everything changed.
Golden State Warriors All-Star Draymond Green threw a punch at his teammate Jordan Poole at practice on Wednesday, as first reported by The Athletic.
Well, I guess that's not ideal. Draymond Green punches Jordan Poole in the face. What the heck did he do? We don't know what was said on the exact day to lead up to something like this.
Everything, there's also a full story. I don't care to share my story. One day I will.
But what we do know is that both these players were dealing with very similar situations off the court. Draymond Green's going into the final year of his contract, looking to get an extension. Jordan Poole's going into the final year of his rookie deal, looking to get an extension. The Warriors aren't thrilled about giving either of them a new deal. For one, they still have another season before being forced to make a decision, and they're also in one of the toughest financial situations we have ever seen, especially after giving Wiggins a new contract. Due to luxury tax implications, the team was already projected to have a staggering $372 million salary. The Warriors had to be careful. Jordan Poole's not happy about this. The hype and excitement for him is at an all-time high. He wants to be paid. Reports start coming out that frustrations have been blatantly clear, that teammates had noticed a massive change in his behavior, and Draymond Green, dealing with the same problems, seemingly had enough. A crazy situation, no doubt about that, but it might have had some serious implications no one even realized. Just a week later, the Warriors would give Poole that extension. Not just an extension, but a 4-year, $140 million max extension. That's as good as it gets, something rarely handed out, especially to a player that's currently the team's 6th man. The expectations are going up. It's pure speculation, but without that punch, that extension might never happen. The Warriors are the reigning NBA champions, looking to be back at the top, cement their dynasty. Now, 2 of their best players are fighting. The presumed cause of the fight is contract, something the front office could partially resolve. This extension was a locker room band-aid. There was no good reason to give it to him. He was going to be a restricted free agent in a year, and it's not like they had to worry about another team offering the max and having to match it. They're giving it to him right now. This is a time that, depending on how things shake out, could be a defining moment in the history of this dynasty. Draymond didn't just punch Poole. He might have punched an organization. We go into the season, and things are just not right. The reigning NBA champions, a team that avoided a Game 7 their entire playoff run, just brought back all their foundational pieces, and they're starting the season 3-7. Jordan Poole, who they gave a superstar price tag deal to, is not playing great. He's averaging 15 points on 40-30 split. He looks like, well, a 6th man. He's already managed a few blow-up games, but he's also managed 4 for 15, 3 for 10, 5 for 18. This would be the story for a while, and with Golden State not having the same success as a year ago, concerns started creeping up, just like last season. His role was up and down. He'd be in and out of the starting lineup, but those great flashes just didn't come. He couldn't take care of the ball, leading to stupid turnovers. He's one of the few players that still get called for carries.
Poole did 1 3. We saw him make 5. Another discontinued dribble. That's wild. How many was he had 1 day and that's to shoot? Oh, third good answer. Just lost his footing.
He right away, so it's asking.
Oh, ball's down.
The top, crazy, what a chips. She's a floor doing it. Yeah.
Well, it's
His struggles to find or even look for his teammates seem to cause a lot of frustration.
I don't think that was in reaction to anything that happened with the official. On that offensive rebound, he was yelling at Jordan Poole to pass him the ball, and Jordan shot it with 12 seconds or whatever off it. Just
Poole bounces off of Isaiah Jones.
play on.
Then there's the defense, which was the most visually frustrating part of his season. He's always been a bad defender, but after getting paid and getting a ring, the effort was just noticeably worse. It's hard to say why this happened. There's a chance that getting all this hype as a great young star, being all over social media, and winning a championship made him believe he was a better player than he actually is. Maybe it's just as simple as he got the contract. But something's very clear. We're not seeing the same Jordan Poole. So what's so different about this season? The biggest change is that he's playing a different position. He's gone from 33% of his time at the point to 67%. The 2 best versions of him we've seen is when he slotted in for Curry in an otherwise healthy lineup, and for Klay in an otherwise healthy lineup. While Klay's still been an elite shooter since returning from years of injuries, the defense is not where it used to be. The Warriors were dominant last year with and without Klay. It's not a knock on him, it's just the narrative surrounding why the Warriors were so good is pretty off when it comes to the mainstream. At face value, you see Klay returning and this new, young, shiny talent Jordan Poole hitting step-back 3. But what gets overlooked is guys like Andrew Wiggins. His jump as a defender and growth as a three-point shooter made him a cornerstone of this group last season. But his 3-and-D style, it's not going to pop up on Instagram highlight. Draymond Green had a resurgence defensively. Gary Payton and Otto Porter were great adds to this rotation, and obviously, Curry didn't miss a step. We would end up getting a lot more clarity during the playoff. When Jordan Poole and Klay were out there together, things did not go well. Of any two-player combination in the playoffs that played at least 400 minutes together for the Warriors, which there were 7, Klay and Poole had the worst, both defensive rating and offensive rating. Stats like this never tell the full story, but nearly half those minutes also featured Curry. So down the stretch, a problem started to creep up. It wasn't that Jordan Poole wasn't productive for them, but it was hard for him to comfortably slide into the rotation without drastically eating into someone like Klay's minute. So down the stretch, we see his role start to slip. When Gary Payton returns, that's expedited. In the last 3 games of the finals, we see his minutes go down to 20, then 14, and lastly, 17. So flash forward to this season, he's the 6th man, playing the same role he struggled with a year ago. Advanced stats can be annoying, but they at least give you a decent idea. 538's Raptor WAR stat combines defensive and offensive factors to get an approximate value of a player. Last season, he would post a respectable WAR of 5.5. This season, it's down to negative 0.3. It suggests that his defense was already bad a year ago and got worse. The offense was solid, but plummeted. He's the only player in the Warriors rotation with a negative WAR. The only other point guards with negative WARs that actually played this season are Austin Rivers and Reggie Jackson. By no means is this stat a reflection of someone's skill or potential, but it is a reflection of their production and value to their current team. And well, this season, it wasn't great. Now we're in the playoffs. He dealt with an ankle injury at the end of game 1, but he's playing through it. He's played 3 games, averaging 12 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists, shooting 30% from the field and 20% from 3. It's only 3 games, but again, he's the only player on the team with a negative WAR. We're starting to see some criticism come through left and right.
Benched in a game 2 in the first round.
Now, Jordan Poole is super talented. He can put up some crazy numbers. He is valuable to this team when a lot of offensive production is missing or slotting into that Klay role. But when the roster is fully healthy, his value becomes a serious question. This fall for Jordan Poole is unique, as it really only feels this drastic because of the pedestal he was put on, being praised as this future star, featured all over ESPN and social media, and then eventually landing that massive contract, a contract the Warriors could have waited on. With Draymond needing an extension and then Klay next year, some tough decisions are on the horizon for the Warriors, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.